Welcome to the David Damian Show. Hi everybody, this is David Damian Figueroa with David Damian Live. And I have my dear friend here, Edy Ganem.
Hello.
Everybody. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's really, I'm like, we're in her home and it's absolutely beautiful. The art and everything is just amazing.
We have my painting behind.
Yeah, so this is a perfect backdrop for us. But Edy, let me talk about, remember, I say Edy, but...
Oh my God, people are joining.
Yeah, of course they are. That's you. That's why. But
Nice.
you know, when you and I toured around the country together for the opening of Devious Maids.
Yep.
And I started my first screening, and I said, "Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Edy Ganem. Welcome, Edy Ganem." You're like, "Hey, it's Edy."
Well, because it happens a lot, so I was just like, I better say it now.
So we'll give an explanation to that in just a moment.
Yeah.
But before we get started.
And it's my first time doing this, by the way. So
I know.
if I forget, there's no edit.
There's no edit at all.
Beep.
So and we have some
We do it
champagne here.
later.
Ta-da! You know, we have some so Edy Ganem was born in Modesto, California, raised in Torreon, Mexico, along with her two younger brothers. She has Mexican and Lebanese heritage. She is a graduate of the University of San Diego and starred, of course, in the Lifetime. It was like a breakout, just an amazing show, and we'll talk a little bit about that. On the network, a hit on Lifetime, Devious Maids, and starred in Ana Maria and Novella Land, which I've already seen twice.
Oh,
I love that. You
it's
can
such
see.
a cute movie. You guys should check it out.
It
And it's
is.
just because it's me in it.
Well, you're the star of
It's
the show.
such a cute film.
Or the film.
I'm really
But it's
happy.
also available on iTunes and Hulu. So
Yeah.
make sure to watch it. And so my first question is that, you know, Devious Maids was such a revolutionary, you know, hit on television because what it did is it was the first time you had a Latina producer
Yeah.
and an all Latina cast.
Yeah, the 5 leads, you know, 5 Latina women, 5 women, you know, which is already so empowering to be a part of that as a woman. And not only that, but we were 5 Latinas. It's, you know, you'd never had that before. So I think we really were paving the way for a lot of TV shows that you see now. And, you know, I literally see it now happening. They want diversity. It's something that's really wanted now, and it doesn't just have to be the Latino community, but I think it's just opening up that conversation for the fact that we need to see more of that because TV and film really used to not portray the reality of what this country is. We live in the States, and this is a melting pot. When I came to live here, that's what I learned in school. This was the melting pot, and now we're starting to see that.
Right. And so you grew up in Modesto, and you grew up in, you were born in Modesto, and you were raised in Torreon, and
Correct.
you lived in Spain as well, and then you came to the United States.
I know.
What was that experience like?
A little bit
Because
of a nomad.
You have a lot
Nomadic
of,
family.
then I'm going to ask you about the Lebanese side of you.
Okay.
Okay?
Maybe
So-
that's where it came from. You know, I was just born in Modesto. My parents were living there at the time, and they were really young. So when I was born, they right away decided to move back to Mexico because they were alone. So they didn't really have the support of the family. And you know how Mexican families are. Where
Yes,
like
absolutely.
you have to be with your family. So
And your dad, we just met your dad.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So and he's here helping me with my baby. So that's how families work in the Latin community. So they went back to Mexico, and I basically grew up in Mexico, and I learned Spanish first, and then later on, once I was a teenager, we moved to San Diego.
Right, right. And so, back to Devious Maids. So what was it like? You have 5 Latinas, 5 stars. What was that like?
Well,
Because, you know, they're like, you know, sometimes it could be very diva-ish, right?
no, none of that. You know, if anything for me, and I thought of that at first, I was just like, okay, how is this going to be? 5 women, you never know, you hear stories, and, you know, they're actresses who've been working for a long time, so I didn't even know what to expect. Also, because that was my first big job. So I didn't come from, I've done all these other TV shows before. I know what it's like. I've dealt with personalities or actresses who've been established. It was me coming into this world of, I've seen Judy Reyes, I've seen Rosalind Sanchez, I've seen Ana Ortiz, I've seen Dania, and and the other cast, and then Eva Longoria's producing, and Mark Cherry, and for me to come into that, it was a whole experience. But it was just so nice to have such a support. The women are so nice and so sweet. They all embraced not only me, but each other. Some of them already knew each other. Dania was like my mentor for so many things that I literally questions about anything and everything. And it was just so nice to see powerful women supporting each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were all about that, and none of the diva, like, I want to be better than you, I want to be, none of that. So it was just really sweet to be able to be a part of this group, and we're actually gonna probably, most of us are gonna see each other in about a week and a half. We're gonna have a little reunion to celebrate the 4 seasons.
That's
of a
great.
wonderful show that we all were a part of. So
Part of history.
Yeah, you know, it's just nice to have that. Rosalind, same thing. Judy, you know, Anna, great sense of humor, just great camaraderie with all of them. And so it's just nice to see, and I'm all about, you know, women supporting women. And now even more that I have my child, I think my life has changed. I have this whole new perspective and respect and love for women. It's just a whole other world now that I'm a mom, you know.
Well, how do you manage all that? Because you know, you have 4 films in post production, 1 in pre production that I know of. What else do you? Because you, huh? Yeah, okay, me too.
Cheers. Yeah, so it's tough, you know. It's definitely very overwhelming. At times, I feel like, oh my God, this is crazy, and like I almost want to cry, because hormonal and whatever. But, you know, then I think about it, and I'm just like literally yesterday, I was just like, oh my God, this is so tiring. And it's like, wait, why am I complaining?
And Damian's coming over with all his...
No, maybe, you know, it's like
with his
my
iPhone.
is healthy. Like, everything is right in my life. If anything, my problems are just, you know, stupid problems. I just try to balance life. I try to make sure that you know, I'm not neglecting my child because I want to be there for him. But I also want to be able to work. I think it's important, and I think it's healthy for someone to have their own life. And I don't want to, you know, I know there's all different types of parenting out there. My best friend being one type of a mother that's, you know, she's very attached parenting, and I respect it. But I like to have my time as well, and so I like to go back to work. I recently just finished filming something in New Orleans. I was there filming for a month, but I took my baby with me.
Oh, that's
But you know, there were
wonderful.
days where I was filming 12 hours and I didn't see my baby for the whole day, and I would just come back and snuggle with him at night. And so it just, you know, it makes me happy. It keeps me clear-minded, and then I come home to loving him again, and then I have days off. And so that's how I feel the best.
I know your husband is very supportive as well.
Yeah, he's very supportive.
He's a full-time daddy.
He is. He loves, you know, he has his job and everything, but he loves being with the baby. Right now it's a weekend, so he's like, let me take him, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's so sweet.
So it's just nice to have the support, and also my dad's here helping me. My mom should hopefully come soon, if she finally can get her visa. Like, you know, there's a lot of that loaded comment.
We talked about immigration earlier. So,
yeah, so it's, you know, my whole family is Mexican, and she had her visa and it expired. She tried to renew it, and she got denied. So it's really unfortunate because she just wants to come visit her daughter.
Yeah.
And so now I'm petitioning for her, because now it's, you know, I'm like, they don't want to let me have her visit as a visitor, so I'm going to have her come and you know, become a resident. So I'm just crossing my fingers for that.
So we have a question. So Juan Escobedo, who does, Juan Escobedo is the director of the East LA Film Festival.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty cool. He
I
just
have
joined.
a friend. I actually, the film I did before this one in New Orleans, I was in Ohio, and one of the actors was actually in East LA.
that's cool.
The TV show, you know, the East
Oh,
Los.
yeah, East Los High,
East
yeah.
Los High. Exactly.
Yeah, which one?
He plays Carlito Oliveira.
Oh, okay. And then Aaron Nicholas. Aaron Nicholas is a mariachi singer. His CD actually is going to be on my show next week.
Nice.
Hi, Aaron. And hey, hi, Juan. And then Andres Castillo from New York. Another great show. Question for Edy. Who do you look up to in the industry? What would be your dream role?
You know, there's a lot of people I look up to. Eva Longoria being one of them.
Me too.
We kind of met through her, as you know, of course.
Yes.
And, you know, she's nonstop. I don't even know how she does it. I call her the Energizer Bunny. And I even asked her, like, how do you feel about flying all the time? She's like, oh, I love it. I'm like, even with energy, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, and I look up to people who are not only doing what they do, which is, you know, acting or singing, but also they get involved in knowing that their voice is being heard, and they use that voice for something else that's good. you know, it might sound cheesy, but I just really, I would love, it's my dream for the world to have peace, you know, for no war, for, you know, everyone to get along, for countries to be, you know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
So,
it's not cheesy.
it's so, you
it's
know,
very
Eva,
basic and something.
Eva is one of, Eva does a lot of work for, you know, charities and so if I can use my voice to tell the world, you know, believe in peace, believe in love, don't you know, do violent acts, respect others, don't throw trash, you know, like care about your world, care about the earth, and just like whatever message you follow, whether it's environment, whether it's immigration, whether it's anything, you know what I mean? Like anyone who has that power and uses it to do good, I really look up to people like that. And my dream role, I don't forget, because I start talking, and then I'm like, what was the question?
I was just going to say, and your dream role.
In my dream role, you know, I literally just played a very interesting character in this movie, Created Equal, directed by Bill Duke.
I read about that.
It's the one I just filmed. And I would have never thought that was my dream role. I play a Catholic sister who is suing the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church doesn't allow women to be priests.
Wow, that's interesting.
It became such a role in my life that it was not about the looks, it was not about any of that. It was about this message from God that came to her, and she was just following through with that, you know. So it was very detached of the ego and what you really want. And I never thought I would get a role like that, and it really changed me. It really taught me so much. I learned so much. It changed me and improved me as an actress and as a human being. So I'm really blessed to have done that, and it's, I think it's one of my dream roles, and I got to play it. And then, you know, for future, I would love to just do something, you know, fun or crazy, like a rock star or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, just.
Well, you did Anna Maria in Novella Land. And you know, you carried the whole film. I mean, like you're like in every scene.
Every scene. It was my first experience doing
that.
So
that's, now when you talk about getting tired and wanting to cry, that's a lot. That's a lot of work.
I almost passed out, and you know, the medic had to like hydrate me like crazy one day because. And now I understand when you hear like, you know, Rihanna and people like they have to cancel concerts because they have or overexhaustion. I was like,
oh yeah, sure.
I was only doing this independent film for a few weeks, and it was maybe like the third week in, and I literally was like, oh my god, I'm not feeling well. And it's because, you know, you work more than 12-hour days, and then you go to, you know, you go home, you sleep, you wake up, and you're on the whole day, and it really takes a toll. But it was amazing. I mean, to have an experience like that where I got to play two characters and they do like a switch, kind of like a Freaky Friday, completely opposite. One is like a telenovela girl and she's just like big, and it's, you know, it was really, really fun. I didn't know it was going to be that fun to play a character like that.
And Luis Guzman was in there, and Diana Ortelli, who actually I asked her to be on the show and she's ignored me. Hi, Diana.
Lady. Don't be ignoring Damian.
There you go.
She played my mom.
And we have Diane Gonzalez from San Antonio.
She watches your show. I know she does.
Who, Diana?
Yeah.
Oh, you see her?
I've seen her comment and stuff. So I think
there you go, Diana.
Now you have to do.
Yeah, she's like, well, I'm trying to.
Elizabeth Pena, rest in peace, was also my mom in that film, and she was great. I learned a lot from both. You know, also from Diane Ortelli, Elizabeth Pena, and from Luis Guzman, who's a sweet, 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 sweet man. I love him.
And so Diane Gonzalez from San Antonio, and Andres Castillo.
Thank you. Nice comments. Yeah, keep the nice, positive comments coming. I love social media for that. I don't like when people use social media to hate.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Andres Castillo, Eddie. Stay close to Didi. He is a great mentor.
I know that he's a great mentor, and that's why I approached him, actually, because I met him through Eva Longoria. We exchanged information, and, you know, we sent a few emails, and I told him I wanted to have lunch with him because I knew that he could teach me a lot, you know, on how to do more. He was with Maldiv at the time, and I told him, hey, David, what can I do? Can you tell me or teach me how can I do something that is not just like, hey, let me be an actress, and you know what I mean? And and he's been helping me with that.
Okay, that's enough about me.
But
let's go back to all these films. Okay, you have, golly, Eddie, this is incredible. You have Broken Dolls, Gringos, you just talked about
Blood Heist we just shot.
Yeah, Blood Heist, and Did I get them all?
Gringos has been shot, yeah. Broken Doll is something that we're working on.
It's post-production.
The writer is it's actually the writer is my friend. So I'm trying to also produce and not just be an actress. So I've been kind of like talking with people I know who are writers and kind of like working with them because I'm not a writer. Maybe eventually I'll write something.
Everybody's a writer. Everybody is a writer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when like the format for like TV and film and stuff like that, I feel like right now I need help and eventually.
Well, we all need help.
Exactly.
So let me just give you, okay.
And it's good to admit that we need help.
Yeah, just write something and then have somebody else format it.
Well, that's what James Franco did for the film I did before Created Equal, Blood Heist. He is so creative and I think his brain would explode. So he like needs to like say, hey, I have this idea. So he writes that and then he has people do the screenplay.
Absolutely.
And that was Blood Heist. And he was in it and it was a great experience.
I think everybody's a writer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have something called rapid fire questions.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Okay, you want to do it? Okay.
I'm nervous now.
When were you the happiest?
When I met my baby.
That's so cute.
And I guess right now when I have my baby, when I see my baby face. I'm gonna cry.
I know. I saw your face. It's like, wow, it's like you're completely changed.
Yeah.
So if you could speak to God, what would you ask him?
I would ask God for humanity to get along better so that we never have to have wars anymore. And I would ask God to, on my personal level, to protect my family, give us health and happiness, and for, the world to be healthy and happy.
That's beautiful.
It's the most important thing, as long as you're healthy and happy, you can do anything.
Yeah, I agree. What is your greatest fear? Well, let me form it this way. What was your greatest fear before you had your baby, and now post having?
Well, when I was younger,
because you said it changed you.
It really changed me. I think now my greatest fear of having the baby is, his well-being. Something happening to him would be like, I don't even want to think about it. But before, one of my brothers loves like Nostradamus and all of that. What he used to like end of the world thing and the year 2000, and he used to talk about it. And my greatest fear, because my dad used to travel a lot. This is when I was younger. Was like, what if the end of the world comes? And my dad is not here, and how are we going to find him? How are we going to stay together? What if my mom can't hold the three of us because she only has two hands? And like, like I just wanted my family to be together. That was my biggest fear. And I guess now, I like death is not necessarily my biggest fear, but it's always like such an unknown because you just don't. It's like you don't know what's going to happen or when, and even if you have faith, it's a big question.
So, we just talked a little bit. Which living person do you most admire and why? You just mentioned Eva Longoria, but which living person do you most admire and why? Eva's living, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Eva.
Hi, Eva. Hope to see you soon. I really admire. It's hard for me to think of someone who's, like a famous person or like a personality.
It doesn't have to.
I just really admire my parents for working so hard and putting us first always. It's very admirable because also they always supported and they've still, are very supportive of what me and my siblings want to do, and they never try to like stop us or put their desires first, like I was dreaming of you to be a ballerina, so you should be a ballerina, or something like that, you know what I mean? And for them to give us that freedom to be what we want to be and to support us and to tell us that we can be that and no matter what, and to tell us that we can dream as big as we want, it makes you, it opens up your mind to anything. I think that every parent has such a big influence on their child.
Yes. And
you can shape who they are going to be or how they're going to be. I've met people who tell me their parents don't support what they want to do, or they don't, they don't tell them they can, they tell them like, no, you're born in this sort of situation and you're going to stay in this situation, or you're poor, kind of like Valentina, my character on Devious Maids, where the mom was like, you're not rich, so you can't marry this guy. And it's, everyone should tell you when you're a child that you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
And I really admire my parents for doing that.
My mom was the same way. She goes, todo es posible.
Exactly.
Everything and anything is possible.
Don't ever limit yourself.
And besides,
work really hard.
yeah, exactly.
You know, it's not gonna just come.
That was-
Like, it's not gonna like, oh, here, there's a tree who.
Yeah. I think that some people think that when they see people on television, that they think that, well, you just show up and and you they have someone put their makeup in their hair, and it's not really not really like that, folks. It really isn't.
No.
Maybe for some people, but I think the majority of the people work, especially the Latinos.
Yeah, you know.
No, well, I think there's a lot of people that work really, really hard. But I've been exposed to a lot of Latinos in Hollywood, and they work really hard.
Yeah, sometimes the difference, that I see for, my personally, as a Latina, and I know, for example, Damian has talked about it. She grew up really poor in Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm. I
grew up with a lot of ups and downs, and, we come from families that don't really necessarily, they support us. Well, maybe Damian has a different story in terms of supporting, but, coming from nothing, and like I said, my family supported me, like, yeah, we support you. But they never gave me $1 because they couldn't. You know what I mean? If they could, they would have. But when you have to really fend for yourself from like scratch because you don't come from money and then make it, it's, I remember when I first moved here and there was an agent who was like, yeah, there's this actor and like he won't get a job because he wants to focus on his acting 100%. And I'm just thinking, okay, well, I need to have a job. I'm not going to pay my rent or eat if I don't have a job.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me right now. So I had to have, like, part-time jobs at, like, random times of the day so that I could still go to my auditions, so that I could still hopefully book something, so that I could eventually, not have to have those jobs and just be an actress. But it's, you just have to juggle it and you just have to make it happen. And if you are dedicated and focused, you can make it happen. You just really have to, like, work.
And what is your greatest accomplishment?
I would say my, having a balance in my life. I was told once, like, you can't have it all. Someone told me that, literally. I'm not even kidding. I remember it clearly because I said, I want to be an actress. I want to be successful. I want to be able to grow older and have roles as I get older. But I also want to have a family, and I would love to have children. And somebody told me, like, well, because you're a woman or whatever. I don't know if he didn't say because you're a woman, but he did say, like, well, you can't have it all. Kind of like, you either have to choose your career or your life or your family.
Right.
And so I think my biggest accomplishment right now is the fact that I'm making it happen. I think I'm trying to work and have both. Mm-hmm. And I think it's possible. And a lot of people have done it. And I want to keep working. I want to keep doing what I do. And I want to make sure that I keep, having my family and paying attention to my family and dedicating my life to doing also... to give my little, mi granito de sal, to do something good.
Your little grain of salt.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Okay.
¿Cómo se dice en español? ¿Granito de arena?
Mi
granito de arena?
Like a grain of sand.
Mm-hmm, mi granito. Yeah. I want to be able to do that. So I think my biggest accomplishment so far is being able to, like, say that I am an actress, I'm a working actress, and I have my child, and I'm making it work. Kind of. I'm tired, but
you're
it's
working.
Happening. It's working.
Cheers
girl.
to you. Working, girl.
And like one of my acting coaches, Anthony Mindel, says, "Fake it till you make it."
That's correct.
I mean,
that's what I'm doing right here.
Right?
Because I've never hosted anything.
How many followers do you have? You're not faking.
I don't know. Look,
so
none.
modest.
No, there's actually people watching. So, but diversity is such a big word in the entertainment industry here, and especially lately with the Academy Award and all Academy Awards that happened, and there's been influx of Latino members that have been and African Americans, Asian Americans that have been brought into the Academy as members. What has been your experience as a Latina in Hollywood?
More and more, I feel like I started and it was already like a little bit open, right? Like, oh, we want ethnic, we want this role, and I saw that and I thought, wow, I'm really happy to know that this is happening, but also very lucky because I know that in the past that was not the case, and a lot of actors who had Latin descent or any other would change their names, would pretend that they had no connection to whatever ethnicity they were, and now you can be proud and open. And kind of like bring your flavor to the table, and I think that's really cool. I think that's been my experience. That it's I've been really welcomed. there's a lot of talk now about, you know, being open and bringing diversity, and you hear it all the time, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that, you know, or at least we're talking about it, and we're kind of like improving, and we're taking steps forward. I did grow up in Mexico, so I learned Spanish first. I guess my only thing it's been that, you know, I learned to speak English after. So I have a little bit of an accent, and sometimes that is a problem. People want Latinos with no accent. And I understand that there's a portrayal where, you know, we don't have to have every Latino character to have an accent, because not every Latino in Hollywood has an accent, but a lot of us do. And I feel like we should really be open-minded to that as well. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to exaggerate it or anything like that, but it's kind of like...
It's part of who you are.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so
nobody tells somebody who is English that comes over here and does a film, and they have an English accent.
With no British accent.
And then they say, you know, well, we love your British accent.
And I'm not saying like, hey, every character that's Latino should have an accent or be open. Like, yeah, many people who grow up here don't, and I get it, and that's why I go with my coach, and I coach for, you know, try to be as flat and as like American sounding as possible, and I understand and I'm open. But I just think that that's another thing that, you know, maybe has kept me a little bit. But other than that, I just think that it's a great time right now in Hollywood. We're really, really starting to have that conversation, and I think it's a positive thing that we are seeing so many more TV shows, so many more films with characters that are truly, you know, more believable from where they are, which is, you know, whether it's African American, whether it's Asian, whether it's Latino, it's the reality of the world, and it's like, it's the way we are starting to see it.
That's exactly
so it's
right.
good.
Yeah.
I know that in the past a lot of people would watch a TV show and say, well, I don't see myself there because everyone's blonde or something like that. So now it's
even on Spanish language television. Everybody was blonde.
So
that's changed a lot too. So there's been improvement. You know, I'm way older than you too, so I've seen it all.
So I'm sure
a lot of it.
I feel lucky. I feel like it's a good time right now. So I'm blessed.
What advice would you give someone who's up and coming? That, you know, let's say that we just have folks watching from San Antonio and from Arizona, and they want to come to Hollywood. And, you know, I get a lot of texts from people like, "Oh, my daughter's an actress," and so what advice would you give them?
You know, obviously, if you can be in LA or New York, that's like kind of like step one, because this is where like the center of the whole thing is happening. And once you're here, it's good to be able to have someone that can give you advice, because nobody tells you how to go about it. It's a weird career where you need to kind of like find your own way. But most importantly, you need to be really serious and focused about it so that you can really pursue it, really take charge of what you're doing. If it's acting, you know, you really need to prepare. You really need to maybe take a class and understand what it means to be in the room when you audition and when you're doing a scene, which is, you know, that's like the basic stuff. But then to like know that at first you're gonna have to do a lot of work that might be, you know, like a student film, and you're gonna learn from that.
Right.
Value everything that you're doing along the way, because everything will teach you something. And if you're a professional at what you do, you know, you're gonna leave an impression, and those people are gonna want to work with you again. And if it's a student film, say AFI, American Film Institute, those people are gonna graduate. Those people are gonna go on to work and be directors. And if you did a good job, they're gonna want to hire you again.
Right.
So as you grow, you know, I've noticed that as I've been growing, I've been meeting more people, and if they liked what I did, they call me and they're like, hey, you know, this friend of mine is doing this thing, and I think you'd be great for their film. And so it's about keeping good connections and being professional and just kind of working really hard no matter what you're doing.
Right.
You know, there's really no other way around it. You really have
to work hard.
You really have. It sounds like oh yeah, of course I've heard that before, but there's competition. But a lot of people are not working hard. So like you can make it happen.
That's
it's not
your
like
edge.
yeah, it's not like you know, somebody told me to. It's so weird because I told him I want to be an actress, and this guy was like, it's like winning the lottery. You know the odds? Like it's not gonna happen. And I was just like, people are
Well, that's
so
what they told Eva.
discouraging. Yeah, and I'm just like, but why would you even say that? Like, why can't someone make their dream come true? If you work and you focus on that, you know, it's just nice to look back and say like, see,
Been there, done that.
it's happening. You were wrong.
Yeah, it's good to prove people wrong.
Yeah, you
In
know,
a nice way, and still be nice to them.
but
and
it's
all
you
that.
know it's that outlook and that positive mind. If you think positive, you can be positive. That person thought I couldn't make it. Maybe they thought they couldn't make it, so they didn't make it.
Right. So we have Alan Baston.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I'm going to miss Devious Maids."
Oh, I'm gonna miss it too. I miss, you know, I really miss working with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you know, it was such a life-changing experience for me.
But you know, it's the way I see it, Eddie, is it's like it's the beginning of your career. It's a chapter in your life.
A great
And
chapter.
yeah.
I mean,
And so, you know, not everybody has that opportunity, but you know, there are fans out there that watch, and they do really, you know,
Yeah.
if somebody says they're gonna miss it, they're gonna miss it.
yeah.
So,
And
that's cool.
I get a lot of messages like that, and it's nice to see that, you know, I was part of something that people loved so much.
Yes.
It's just I'm really proud of it, I have to say. And you know, I get messages on Twitter or like Instagram, and people tell me all the time, I'm gonna really miss it. And it's, you know, but it's a good thing. We did something good. People loved it, so
Yeah.
at least people are still thinking
Things
about
come in and out of our lives,
Mhm.
and we just have to keep moving on.
it. Yeah.
Just like people, things come in and out of their lives.
Better,
and
more
they can-
things and better
yeah.
things. I always say, you know, more and better will come.
Y
So,
primero Dios, right? All the time.
Yeah.
So the thing is, okay, we're done.
oh
Almost. So we've been on for 30 minutes.
wow, look at us.
That's like.
Chit chatters.
So tell us your social media handles.
Everything is Edy Ganem. Like
Everything.
like I'm like Snapchat, which
I love that.
I started doing it recently, and I literally just go and see what filters they have, and I think my Snapchat is just more goofy than actual, you know, informative or anything. But hey, it's fun.
It's fun.
So Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything is Edy Ganem, and I post kind of like different things on, you know, like I said, Snapchat is just kind of like more quirky, fun, dumb things. And you know, Twitter and Facebook, and Instagram, sometimes I post like more like meaningful stuff or like inspiring quotes or just like
Me too.
you
I
know
love
like
that.
nicer pictures on Instagram, things like that.
I think you know it's wonderful to have social media to be, you know, be responsible with it.
Yeah, of course.
And
You know,
to help
I try
inspire
to, like
people.
I said, you know, inspiring quotes for just to, you know, with things I really believe in. Like even my Instagram, my bio, it says, you know, what I believe in. And it has a quote by Rumi that says, "What you seek is seeking you," which I really
wow.
love. You know, it's like whatever you're trying to get to, it's already trying to get at you. It's a nice. I think that's a nice quote. So I like to post things like that, and it's nice to also connect with the fans. It's a nice way to talk to you guys and you know, say like a little message or something. And I just really like that, being able to connect.
Right. And so my social media handles are all David Damian Live. But I don't do Snapchat.
You have to get on it.
I'm gonna try
My
it.
friends were like, "You have to get on it." I'm like such a late adapter. Finally, I did it. It's fun.
Okay,
I
I'll give it a
recommend
shot.
it.
I'll give it a shot. I think I actually did join, and then I'm like, I will.
I had that too, and I had it open forever, and I was just like, I don't even know how to do this, and I just like, I'm like, yeah, it's there, but I don't know how to use it. Once you start using it.
Betty, thank you so much. You know,
Thank
the one thing
you.
I want to tell you is that you're like super real.
Oh, thank you.
Te quiero. You know, I think you're just a great person.
Oh, thank you.
And-
Let me give you a hug. Hold on.
And I'm just so proud of you. Really, I really
Thank
am.
you.
And you know, I get emotional because you see, you know, we haven't really known each other. And I've known people here for decades, right? And I'm just really proud of the person that you are and the
Thank
person
you.
that you're becoming.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see what's next because I think that your career is going to be anything you decide it's going to be. I really do.
Primero Dios, I hope
absolutely.
so. And no, thank you for being such a mentor, like I said, from the day one that I met you. And yeah, you know, I try to always keep it real.
Yeah,
There's
you
no
do.
other way around it. I like to say before we leave that you know, everyone should just be nice to everyone. I hate people who are, you know, they think they're better than others and they don't treat others nicer or nice because they think they have more money or they have more power or something. Like, just, you know, just be nice, smile to others. And I think that, you know, as simple as it can get, do something good every day. And like I said, even a smile is a good thing. You know, smile at someone. Someone could really, you know, you could change someone's day by smiling at them. It doesn't mean like that you have to do a big thing. So I really believe in that. Thanks for doing this. I think it's a great way to, you know, talk to people, and it's fun.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it.
Bye.
God bless you all.